Welcome to Reform Labs, where we do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, for many false teachers have gone out into the world. My name is Kanoa Benz, and this is our Reformed roundish table discussion. And so we are, as Scott's already just trying to get in the camera. He's excited. Look at him. There he is. Like, get out of my camera. Instead of a Louder Crowder, like, shut up button, I'm like, Scott, get out of my camera button. Awesome. Yeah, so we're going to be trying this out. What is the feedback? Of course, we're going to be trying different things and testing mic quality and stuff, so bear with us on that. And then, as you guys already heard, this is our new edition that we're adding to this to talk about politics, entertainment, and games, movies, whatever comes to mind. With that said, let me introduce to who we have here. You already know who it is. The man who's quick to meme and makes the left scream, Adam Esmeyer.
Hi.
Hi.
He just says hi?
Hi, I hate you.
With that skater boy hat on?
Also, yeah, supporting the 90s look, the shaved face, and the close mic look. We got it. Also, we have with us the man with the beard of John Calvin, as said so by James White himself. The Captain, Adrian Cookson.
Howdy, howdy. I want to do one of my own. Can I? Hold on.
I think we're all cracking the
there
thing. If you're gonna do it, you got to do it right. If you're gonna do it, you got to do it right.
Sorry,
Adrian. How are you doing
today?
today?
I won't ever do it again. I'm doing better than I deserve, as always.
Awesome. And then, of course, a new face that we have here, and I'm going to pray I don't mess up his name. You might, I know him, trust me, all right? We friends.
We're like best friends.
All right, and you might have heard about this from songs and movies that have Scotty doesn't know. But here, Scotty does know. We have him. You know him. He's entertaining. He's got it. Scott does know things. We have Scott Wassel? What? Wassel?
His dad's going to punch you in the face now.
Yeah. He's like, and I immediately hate that guy. And block. Scott, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
I'm glad you are here. And before, Scott's the one that's going to have the list for us today because Scotty knows. But before that, it is July 1st, so we made it through the crazy month, although it's a blessed month for those who know, Novate Covenant month. But you're seeing a lot of the rainbows, but some people just don't get what that means, so they think it's something else, and they're a little confused. But anyway, so you see all the CEOs changing stuff to match, and you see all the rainbows going on. But now that's July 1st, everybody is changing their stuff back. And we noticed there's CEOs that came out, and they had this to say on there. If you guys want to check that out.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered.
Oh, I forgot to... Sorry, folks. I forgot to unmute the desktop audio.
Fail. If you guys are wondering, this is what I have to deal with, all right? This is why...
they heard the TV.
Fire.
It's not called Adrian Knows, all right?
No. Okay. See, this is what happens when I can't screen record. All right.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. No. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love a woman. Now listen.
Oh, he's got
y'all praise God with him. Hold on, wait a minute. Somebody believe God with him.
This is also, in case you guys don't know, this is also what happens when you stop drinking Bud Light.
I'm not gay no more. I am
That was good. Thank you for that, because...
Oh, that's good.
Hilarious.
Good.
All right, so yeah, so
Let's
that
get
was
back to normalcy
that was
now.
announced today on there from the CEOs, and folks, be careful drinking that Bud Light stuff.
Yes.
All right, Scott, what do we have for us today?
Well, first off, you guys will be happy to know, and anybody who supports the boycott will be happy to know that Anheuser-Busch stock, as of 2 days ago, is down $27 billion.
27 billion.
Dang, is that right? Is that really like?
That is
That's
the
a lot.
statistic that I pulled. Yes.
The last
Like-
numbers I saw, it was like 14. That's
Say that again. What is it at?
27 billion.
27 billion.
That's billion with a B.
That's right. I'm not
Much
gay.
different, I'll just switch to
Tar- Target is following behind. They are down 13 billion.
Oh yeah, because Target. I forgot about that. They started their stuff.
They're the ones with
Yep,
the bathroom
I do too.
stuff, aren't they?
Right.
yeah.
Right.
That's crazy.
Which they've been doing that for years now.
Yeah.
Wait, what is going on with the Target stuff? They started doing.
They started doing pride themed clothing for.
Oh yeah, like
targeted towards-
satanic pride themed
Yeah,
clothing.
yeah, satanic stuff too.
Yeah.
Targeted towards like infants and.
Why is that?
Like
Somewhere
with
for
legit
children
like
and stuff
Satan
like that.
stuff on it.
Why? It's like. I mean, obviously
don't
they
know.
hate God,
Yeah.
but it's just like,
Obviously.
why did they in their mind they're like, here? Could you imagine at the like this thing? They're like, hear me out. This is gonna go over well. Satanic LGBTQ clothing, and they're like, and people are like, okay, yeah, for children. You're a genius, Bob.
Ship it.
Yeah, ship it. Yeah, immediately. Shut up and somebody named Rhonda's over here going, shut up and take my money. Like, why?
I'm honestly surprised that they didn't come out with like rainbow themed diapers. Rhonda would just go nuts.
That's crazy. But with the money, it's like all I can think of is that SpongeBob meme, you know, like the thing, like how many times do we have to teach you this lesson? Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I'm talking?
Yeah.
It's like it's okay. You saw what happened with Bud Light,
Mm-hmm.
and you think,
Let's
what,
do that, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that worked out really well for them. It doesn't make any logical
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
And also, I just found this out yesterday. I pulled an article.
Scotty, sorry to interrupt, but you might need to get the mic just a touch closer. We got
Oh,
people
okay.
complaining that they can barely hear you.
Can you
Okay.
try and make sure. You're,
That's maxed out.
Is this better?
I'll have to wait. But just go on. They
Okay.
can strain their ears. They can suffer.
So I pulled this other one. So apparently, Kohl's is going to be following closely in this trend as well.
no
because,
way.
So apparently, Kohl's is now selling Pride clothing, also targeted towards infants, including a onesie that showed people of color holding a
You're gonna
Pride
have to
flag.
Tilt your mic a little. What?
I was gonna say if you want to try and adjust his mic
Yeah.
while he's talking, go ahead. Keep going with
Yeah,
that.
just keep going, and I'll take. care
Adrian
of
will
it.
work around you.
You'll just
He's used to
yeah.
dealing with me, and I'm a drama queen about that stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Again, this is the whole thing. They're not coming after your children. They're not coming after
They're coming after our children.
like shut up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Well, wasn't there just a pride parade where they were singing "We're coming for your children"?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I was
Yes.
just about to say. And that one, they it was, and that was a couple of years ago, and they did.
No, this just happened like 2 weeks ago or last week.
Was
or
there
whatever.
another one? They had the because I know that was making the rounds again. That they had the choir singing or whatever, doing that again.
Yeah.
They're all on YouTube with the cams and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what they were saying. They're like, oh, and you're worried, you think we're coming from our children. They're like, okay, well, just this once, you were right. And we were like, we know.
Yeah, we've been right for a while.
But yeah, and so Kohl's is doing the same thing.
they are doing the same
Mhm.
thing. And somebody very recently pointed out to me too that so you guys remember back in the good old days whenever Chick-fil-A used to be a Christian company, or at least they said so.
Right.
And what's confusing now is that just recently they've announced that they're going to be doing a diversity, equity, and inclusion policy. They're going to start doing that stuff now.
All right, because somebody else was saying that, and I wasn't too jumping on, like, you know, because people are like, oh, they're doing this, they're doing this. They were saying, like, they were giving, because I think I sent that into the group, right, to you guys on our group message or whatever to you guys, and I was like, hey, does anybody know if this is true that they're doing stuff like that? So I guess maybe that's what people are hearing.
Oh, I forget the guy's name, but I have the article up. It's from the New York Times. But they have actually already chosen somebody to head that DEI policy department.
It wasn't the guy we just saw on the screen. He's like, let me head Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I doesn't say his name on here, on this article.
Are you talking about the CEO of Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, like
Dan
he
Cathy?
he chose somebody to head that department.
Okay. So I know the CEO of Chick-fil-A is Dan Cathy. That's his name.
Yeah. So Dan Cathy chose somebody, but this article is not
Okay.
telling me who it was. But I guess maybe this is one of the older ones. But
So and
they've already chosen somebody to do it.
why and the thing that is also and Chad talked about this is also he goes something weird is why is an alcohol company pushing toward a group that you would think doesn't need alcohol. I was trying to be careful with my words because of YouTube stuff like that. That we would say is not right there mentally wise. You know what I mean though? It's like this is who you're pushing for? Like this is who you want to give out, like this is what you think these are the people that need alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they do, but and then you have
Jack Daniels did too.
Right.
Yeah, which is
Johnny
that's
Walker.
weird.
Johnny Walker had one.
Oh,
too.
really?
Yeah. Which is very surprising.
Yeah.
All right, and that's what I'm saying is, and then you everybody saw what happened with Anheuser-Busch with all that with their Bud Light stuff, okay, and then Target sees, and you start seeing Target going down, and then they did. It's I don't know if they're just doing that just because they're like someday this is gonna when the LGBTQ takes charge.
Or as I call them, the Alphabet Mafia.
Yeah, the Alphabet Mafia when they come into play.
Yeah.
They'll take care of us. We'll be the only stores. Like, why? Like, it doesn't make any
I think
sense.
they probably just don't actually care about the money. It's about the pushing the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
And it's like
I mean, all these companies are Democrat funded too, and most of them are ran. That the one of the newer companies that I went to work with for a little while, the CEO apparently grew up in a family where they would refuse to buy Heinz products, like no Heinz mustard, no Heinz ketchup, because Heinz is owned by a Democrat. They refused to buy Heinz products because it was owned by a Democrat.
That's a little extreme.
That's extreme.
Right, that's some hardcore.
Yeah.
We salute you, oh great boycotter. But there is cases to where we need to do that stuff. When they start pushing stuff like hey, this is this is okay for your children. This is normalizing. That's what I don't like. It's a normalization. Is what they do.
Yeah.
And it works, and it's a great tactic. Christians need to be used to normalizing stuff because we don't. We don't normalize knowing what Scripture says. We don't normalize God's law. And then you see what happens when we don't is we start getting normalized to where this becomes normal. You know what I mean? Seeing LGBTQ stuff everywhere, we're like, oh yeah, it's that time of the month, so we're just used to it. And oh yeah, it's this, so now we're just used to seeing it in every TV show or whatever. There's some, oh yep, there's that character. Yeah, we knew it was coming. And we're not sitting here, you know what I mean? We should have already been disgusted with this coming up, as we are now with the clothing, because obviously this is where it was headed.
Right.
So
I agree, and I've been against the idea of having a Pride Month for a long time now because this is
he's over there like the guy on the he would have been up there dancing with the guy on the
well, it's just like, why is it that veterans, people who have served the country, people who have bled for the country and made the ultimate sacrifice, but they get one day out of the year, and the Alphabet Mafia gets to have a whole month dedicated to them.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. Well, and here's the thing: is it's keep going. You know what I mean? Keep boycotting and stuff because they're, and that's what also makes me wonder is
like,
if the CEO people are at least getting money somewhere. You know what I mean? To where they're not concerned. Because I know in certain stores they're making like so much like ridiculous amount of money that they would tell some of the employees. I can't remember what store it was that was on there. It was one of the sporting stores. A couple of buddies there, and when they were sitting through the whole training and stuff, they were saying, they said if you see somebody stealing, They're like, don't do that. They were like, we have thousands of dollars that they set aside for each store. And it was like a ridiculous amount. All right. And it was like $1,000 set aside. So if somebody steals something, they're like, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
That's just going to create a culture.
That's like all those like the CVS and Walgreens in California.
Yeah.
People just loot
California,
those.
Oregon, Washington State. Yep.
Yeah.
Right, and so
Stealing
that's
is
what
legal.
that's what I'm wondering if they knew this kind of. I don't want to get like they're like a conspiracy theory, but like if they had a feeling, let's set aside this much money that we lose from conservatives, and maybe they didn't think it was going to be as big as they they thought to where it was going.
Well,
to.
Walmart had to shut down. They closed. They're the only Walmart in I think it was San Francisco. I think it was the only Walmart in that area, and they closed it down because of shoplifting.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
And then people are complaining like, well, where are all the poor people going to get their stuff? I'm like, well, maybe they shouldn't have been stealing it. I don't know.
Right. From Goodwill, like what I mean.
It's like, you just drained this particular store of all its resources.
Well, and not only that is because it also, like you were saying, it affects the community. Because if you're somebody who regularly shops at a certain store or whatever, and then boom, and they close the store, your life.
And now the lady on government assistance can't go shop there because people were stealing from it so much that they had to close it.
Right. So but at the same time, it's almost like a like for boycotting this stuff is we have to do that. Like, how else are we going to get it to stop?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There has to be if you do this, then we're not bowing the knee.
Yeah.
So we have to do that. And some Christians try to do the whole, what me and Adrian talk about a lot is, try to double standards. Oh, if you're going to boycott this, then we're going to do this. If you're going to boycott this, then you have to boycott all of them. No, we don't. All right? And I'm sure me and Adrian will talk about sometimes, because we have the scripture to back it up, and I believe that's what Paul's talking about, to where somebody outwardly spokens and makes a big deal and says, hey, this meat was sacrificed to idols, and somebody tells you, like, openly, and makes that a big point and aware, then that is okay, we need to step back, not because we're, terrified of rainbows and satanic stuff on there. Most of the time, they probably put 666, and I'm sitting there rolling my eyes going, okay, Nero. But you know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that we have to boycott. We have to look into every single website and write and look at everything. And if you want to go that far, then praise God, do it.
Yeah. You're going to be very limited in what you buy.
Exactly. Then. I know some people that try that, and they are.
Yeah.
But I believe if they become outwardly and say like a big open, hey, that guy quoting what that guy, I'm not gay anymore, and they're coming in going, we're gay. Then there needs to be an outward the same reaction. If you're going to do this big announcement push, this is what we are, then we do need a big outwardly push and say, and this is what we're not having. Just like what happened with Anheuser-Busch and people stopped drinking that. And guys, you're not helping the cause when you buy it to just make a video and throw it in the trash can, or to buy it just to shoot with the rifle or do cool things.
Yeah.
It doesn't help because you're still giving them the money, and the problem and what we want is we don't want them to have the money.
And also Anheuser-Busch and all that, they own like hundreds of different beers.
Yeah,
that was what I was going to say next.
Beers.
And I pulled an article yesterday too that apparently Mexican beer Modelo is on the rise of becoming the most popular beer in America right now, and Modelo owned by InBev. So you're still, if you're going out and buying Modelo instead of Bud Light, surprise, you're still giving money to InBev.
Right.
And I think that's what people, because I didn't know that. I don't drink Bud Light because
that's why lately I've been sticking with good old independent American breweries.
Leinenkugel,
Schlafly.
Yep.
So
I think Shock Top. I think
drink
Shock Top
responsibly, folks.
Yeah, Shock Top is owned by InBev.
Yep.
All right. Well, and that's what also if you are a main like that's what your main thing that you're drinking, and you're looking for alternatives and stuff, then you need to look in what else do these companies have, because not all of them, as Scott was saying, are gonna say Anheuser-Busch or whatever. So you do need to make aware if you're really wanting to make a difference. Because I know, same thing, a bunch of people that are switching over to this other beer. And I think that's what Anheuser-Busch was probably, like, they were like, okay, they're just going to go over to the Mexican, whatever you said.
Modelo, yeah.
Yeah, because they're not going to know that's us.
Yeah.
And so I think if we're going to play our cards right and we're going to do this right, and you're trying to actually be true to the boycott, then you need to pay attention to what else you're substituting.
And it pains my soul because, like, I've said this before. I think Adam, I talked to you about this one time too. Is like, it's almost all the domestic beer brands. Like, I mean, we can boycott Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch right now, but I mean, years ago, Miller Lite was doing Pride stuff. Coors Light was doing Pride stuff. And one of my favorite beers, sadly, that I've had to cut back is...
Scott's suffering over here because of your guys' agenda.
He's
I'm
itching over
suffering.
here.
I'm suffering because my wife made me aware that Guinness also did Pride stuff. Not only did they do Pride themed cans, they took it up a notch. They decorated the St. James Gate in Dublin, Ireland, with rainbow during the month of June last year.
Why?
There's a good alternative
exactly
to
why.
Guinness, and that's Murphy's.
Murphy's is delicious.
Yeah.
Yes. Murphy's Irish Stout is great.
Now, if
Not an
only your
ad.
wife didn't let you know about Guinness, you'd been happy-go-lucky.
No,
Well,
he would be...
I probably would have found out about it
no.
eventually.
Well, yeah,
but
eventually, but
my
for a
wife
longer
made me
time.
No,
aware
you
of
know
it,
what
yeah.
happened is right when his wife told him, he stood up and started dancing in his house. And he's like, I'm not gay.
And he threw away the
He's
Guinness.
like, I like women. Yeah. That's it. That was. I should have started out and said, "Here's a live footage of what happened in Scott's house."
As soon as he found out about Guinness.
Yeah. His wife's
man.
in there. Please tell everybody what you learned.
and what's even funnier is that I think Guinness tried to do the same thing that Anheuser-Busch did. And you remember that ad that they put out not long after the Dylan Mulvaney controversy? It was like, a beer rooted in America. And it's like, now all the Guinness packaging, I know this from whenever I was stocking it on shelves. Now Guinness has packaging that says, Guinness stands with America.
Nah.
I'm like, yeah, sure you do.
Yeah. Meanwhile, over in the other place, they're selling shoes. This is like it's stupid. Stupid. What else you got, Scott?
So I don't know if you guys heard about this, but it's on a political topic. I pulled this from the Daily Mail. So House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is going to begin an impeachment of Attorney General Merrick Garland sometime by July 6th. And it's because of a testimony by Gary Schlepley, the 14-year veteran from the IRS, claiming that Hunter Biden was given special treatment by the investigators into his tax affairs.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Like that's and this is the problem too, because and I remember talking to some neighbors and stuff like that, and talking about the Hunter Biden, and they're like, no, it was like, right in an election year and stuff. They're like, no, that's all propaganda, it's all stuff like that. And now they're sitting there going, yeah, it's crazy. It was actually, it was happening. And then what also still bothers me is that this kind of stuff, apparently from what those people that voted for Biden was saying, is they're like, this would have affected, I mean, I can think of 1,000 other things that should have affected them voting for Biden. Let's start with pro-choice. But they said that story alone, they were they would have been done with that. So now it's coming out now. Well, what does that do now? Maybe it does. I don't know. Thoughts? Like, does this affect the coming up election?
No, I mean, well, I think Hunter is just going to get a slap on the wrist. He's not going to get anything. He's got, I mean, the Bidens have more than enough money to pay off whatever kind of.
You need to be
legal
careful
situations.
because someone's going to be doing something to you, and they're going to say that you did it yourself.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If he starts talking about the trafficking, then yeah, that's normally
Especially
what happens
talking
on
about the
there.
Clintons. Oh wait, I already said it.
Oh.
But yeah, and that's kind of just just the thought process is, okay, so now that we have this information, do we see that? And I mean, this is something you guys can comment below and stuff that, or just something to think about is, okay, is this going to help us learn for the future? Like when we start hearing stuff, do we take this stuff more should we take this stuff more seriously when we hear a possible story coming up or whatever? I hope that's, I hope people learn their lessons and go, okay, maybe we should actually look into this and not just stick to, one thing. Thoughts? What are your guys' thoughts on that? Everybody's like, yeah, I mean, it seems pretty logical to me.
Yeah. I mean, the
well,
theonomic
it's annoying
approach
because
would
it's like we hear that and we all sat there and we were all just sitting here going, yeah, we know. Like, oh, really? It was, so it turns out all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, the theonomic approach would be sit, wait for more information. Don't jump the gun. Don't just eat notes. Think through it logically.
But that's also the problem, is there was more than enough evidence that was out there.
Well, I mean, look at all the people that were like, oh, the laptop is fake. It's a hoax. The laptop's a hoax.
Right.
And no, Hunter's laptop is very real.
Yes.
I mean, it's a real thing.
Not just the laptop itself, but what was on it.
Right.
That was claimed to be on it. That was real.
Wasn't Giuliani the one?
Yeah.
Giuliani
had it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got it from that computer repair guy.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I saw the computer repair guy being
and
interviewed.
Who was it? The feds that came into Giuliani's house and they just left the laptop?
Yep.
That's crazy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Left the laptop. This how they go.
Well, no, they actually left the laptop. Giuliani still had it, and he presented it to,
because he was doing some goofy
high
stuff.
media
he's
people.
like, I'm still using
not
this,
mainstream
guys.
high media people, but high media people
like
Crowder or Shapiro.
Tell Hunter I'll bring it by later.
Yeah, I remember he was like, I think he was on. Was it on Crowder's show? He was like holding it up to the screen of it.
Yeah.
Like, look at this.
I don't want to show you what's on it because you'll definitely get canceled.
Yeah. He's old.
No laptop here.
Yeah.
It's like literally says like Joe Biden wrote, if found, give to call my son Hunter.
But yeah, the other thing that I was going to comment on is the Attorney General Merrick Garland. This whole thing about him being implemented in, kind of steering away from that investigation into Hunter was like, this whole impeachment thing. I have to say, I'm very impressed with Kevin McCarthy because I had my doubts about him when he got elected. I figured that he was just going to be a very squish Republican, like he was just going to do whatever the left tells him to do, and he was just going to kind of skate by and not do anything. And then he started really impressing me. Just the State of the Union speech, Biden's State of the Union speech, just the level of control that he had over himself to not tear up that speech and not pull a Nancy Pelosi.
Right, yeah.
That had to be like so nerve-wracking to not want to do that, especially whenever Biden, he gets up on there and he starts mumbling about how like this nonsense about how the GOP wants to eliminate the Social Security system and stuff like that. It was absolutely absurd. And it's,
Well, and you always see a difference. There's a difference between how one side acts compares to the other. And you see a look at, from what we showed out at the clinics when we're standing there. There's a difference between how we act when we're engaging in conversation with them versus how they act when talking to it. Look at Abolition Rising, their YouTube channel, and they have all the encounters that they do and stuff like that. There's a difference between how one side acts and the other, and that's how it should be. We shouldn't have to act how they act, because what they defeat themselves. Literally, they shoot them for the wording. They shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
By how they act all the time. We're the ones who sit there with saying, well, let's talk about this and use logic. They're the ones sitting over there going, I don't know what a woman is. I'm not a biologist. You know what I mean? Or can you define what an assault rifle is?
Nope.
Yeah, no. Well, aren't you the head of this and supposed to be doing... You know what I mean? And so you see there's one side that's ready to go to and ready to talk about, and you don't see much of that on, all for the
And
others.
for those
Yeah.
that are listening, I'll explain this for you because I know. Anyway, when Kanoa says the two different sides, he's not talking about based upon what they proclaim to believe. It's what they actually believe. You can tell by their fruit. You can tell by their behavior what they actually do. And so when we're talking about like two different political spectrums, we're not just talking about, this side claims that they believe this. So we're not going based upon name alone.
Right. Right. And and it's just about based on beliefs and what you can see. And nowadays it's pretty easy for how they're being open. And I had to have Adrian like white explain that for me.
White splain?
White
Are you kidding me?
That's terrible.
No, I had to nuance explain that for you.
White splain.
I
There
liked
we
it
go.
better when it was Polynesian
Awesome.
month.
Pacific Islander month.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kanoa.
What else you got for us?
I don't know. Also, so you got all that stuff going on, and then I don't know if you guys saw this, but Joe Biden, he meets with the Indian Prime Minister. I'm gonna botch this pronunciation, but Narendra Modi.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that's good.
That's how I'd say it.
In the middle of that, on live television, he admits, or jokingly admits, selling state secrets. And I have a clip of this, and I don't know if we can.
Wow.
If I would have had time. Okay. You
I
guys
can
talk
play
amongst yourselves.
I can play the audio, but
I'll get the clip.
Here.
So it's
did you send
Biden
he sent it
joking
to me.
about giving state secrets to the Indian Prime Minister? Is
well,
that what you
just
said?
state secrets in general. Just
but not to anybody in particular.
Oh, you didn't
Right.
send that clip
Okay.
to me.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
All right, cool. Since he's sending that over. Okay, and but let me, same thing that you're thinking. So Biden was joking about that he did this.
Yeah, he
Now, since it's Biden saying that, are we sure he was joking?
I think it
Oh,
was just
that's
a
what I
slip.
was. That's what I was gonna get to.
Right.
Like,
Are we sure
I
this is
don't
not one
think
of the
he's
most?
joking.
I like
think
ice
I think it
cream.
was.
like,
I think it was one of his dementia fits where like
be on there.
he forgets where he's at, and
Yeah.
he forgets that maybe he's not at home, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, I sold state secrets." Yeah,
right. That's what it's. I don't even know
Yeah.
what else to say to that. You're just sitting there going like, "What more evidence do we need?"
It was 1972. I was with Corn Pop at the city pool, and
it was the year 10,000 BC. I was riding my woolly mammoth to the.
I said,
I do have to say something about Biden. I
Bro,
actually
you were
feel
there.
sorry. I legitimately
Tell
feel sorry
him.
for Biden because he does not need to be put in this position. He's actually being
Right.
abused. He
Yeah.
needs to be kept at home,
yeah,
having not in a. I mean,
kept in a home.
He was being genuinely like serious here. He needs to be kept in a home, locked up. And
He
meanwhile,
needs to
we're
be
all
kept-
sitting here going, "It's hilarious."
he needs to be kept at home, not
Adrian
in
being
a home,
It's Adrian
but
being
taken
genuine.
care of by his family.
Just sit him in the recliner with
Yes.
some tapioca pudding.
Get
Let
him
him,
his
let,
ice
No,
cream.
he-
Jello.
let him watch reruns of
He likes
Sitting
he
by
likes
the
chocolate
fire
chip
with
Green
ice
a
Acres or
blanket over
something.
his leg.
you know.
He needs to be taken care of. He needs to not be put in this type of position. He's actually being abused.
He needs to have a whole refrigerator full of ice cream, chocolate
Chocolate chip.
chocolate chip.
Each their own. Okay, so this entire 1 minute 10-second thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, throw that up.
I mean, you
Okay.
don't have to play the whole thing, just the first part.
Well, that's kind of not how we roll, but that's
Okay.
But also at the same time how we roll. So let me just keep talking. I want to get this pulled up.
All right, and again, if this isn't a sign for where we're at as a country, like I hope people learned their lesson on like, and if anything, maybe like, I mean, normally when God sends wicked leaders as an act of judgment on the stuff like that, I'm just praying that this is God showing, like, also, punishing us as a nation because of how stupid we're acting, but also in a way of showing us mercy by saying, this is what you get if you continue down this road. Like, if that's not a big sign to us already when we have, like, this is our leader, this is the abuse that they're doing. They're openly abusing, like, this and doing this publicly, and we're all sitting there going, like, if that's not a scream to, okay, we should fix this. And I'm not saying, you know, for all those people that are never Trumpers, okay, cool, but that's not what I'm getting at. Is we got to the point to where that Trump was our best option.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's how bad it is that we're like sitting here going, yeah, we need Trump because that's our best option right now. And then we're not saying, okay, then we need more like Trump and how he talks on Twitter and stuff like that. No, if you don't like the cool, but then let's keep raising the bar. Then you can't just go, oh, we don't like Trump, so let's go lower to a leader who can't function correctly. And I think that's fair to say. I'm not trying to be.
Yeah. He can't like. Yeah, I was
And
going
if
to
there's
say
any more
function,
links
but,
that you have, Scott, go ahead and send them to me.
Okay.
So we're not running into the skin. But I got it ready.
All right, yeah, throw it up then.
Oh. Another snafu. I had it muted.
without you.
Let's start from the beginning.
Oh,
Wait,
sorry
is
about
that the
guys.
Prime Minister or the?
The guy on the left.
Yeah.
I started off without you.
He's like, shut up.
I started
I
off with
sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared. Now, all kidding aside, look, we're teaming up to design and develop
Dude, wait,
new
he
technology
looked,
to transform the
dude, he
lives of
looked
our people
nervous for
around
a
the
Yeah,
second.
the Indian guy like.
Yeah, he's
world.
like,
Private
ah.
and public,
Wait, hold on. Go back to the beginning
partners
really
to
Yeah,
make this
play that
possible.
again.
I was just thanking.
Watch his face.
Hold on.
Anyway,
Anyway.
started off
I was
without
just
you.
thinking it anyway.
And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared.
Did you see that?
Now, all
That's
kidding
that.
aside, look,
Yeah.
we're teaming
It's
up
like
to design and develop
unbelievable.
New technology to transform the lives
This
of
is who
people
they
around the
elected?
The two guys on either side are like,
Tell
I'm just in
me,
unbelief.
what are you?
Partners
what
to
do
make
you
this
know?
possible,
Like,
including launching
You
a new
cannot tell them
program
that.
between India and America, American astronauts, Indian astronauts,
We are
entrepreneurs,
screwed.
scientists, students. Simply
I
put,
just,
no, he's
our
like
countries
this
are
is what he's
taking
saying.
innovation and
He's like, we can
cooperation
literally do
to
this
a new
openly.
level in our relationship.
All right, but there was a moment
that's
that
a
we were.
facepalm moment
If
right
you
there.
watch
Large
his hands
part for
again in
the
that
folks around
beginning.
This table. So my message today is really simple. We've got to keep it up,
he's
and
like-
we have to make sure we aim even
Yeah.
higher. We're going to see more technological change. You've heard me say this a number of times in the next 10 years than we saw in the last 50 years, and maybe in the next
Oh,
few
the guy
years.
on the right is the
50
Microsoft
years.
CEO.
Oh, wow.
All right, now I gotta.
I'm
Now I
just
want to watch
thanking,
everybody's reaction on there.
Anyway,
But if you're watching this, watch this
started off
the
without
one
you.
next to Biden. Watch the hands.
and I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very
Did you
important
see his
things
eyes?
that we shared.
They
Now, all
slowly
kidding
went.
aside, look,
And
we're
then
teaming up to design and develop new technology that are going to transform
There's
the
no way
lives
he
of our
knew
people around
that
the
he was
world.
going to say that. He
And
was just
together,
like,
we're lifting the private and
I don't think that
public,
was a joke. I think that
partners
was
to
a
make
like
this
Yeah, I
legitimate
don't-
just in there. So it's easily found.
But here you know what, and this is for all the 18-year-olds and the ones that were going to college that I hear it from their parents and heard it from their own mouths is we wanted free college.
mm-hmm.
I mean,
And they just said that that the SCOTUS just said that Biden doesn't have the power to forgive student loans.
right.
That just I forgot that just happened the other day, and I forgot to add that into my notes. But
yeah, well, and I'm sure they're gonna push that again because what else can they push at this point to make like? And honestly, and this is comment below.
Mm-hmm.
What other reason do they have to win someone over to vote for this again? Like
There's
free
no
college. I feel like that's all they have. That they could free college. That
Yeah.
that's the only card that they could. It's almost like the pro-lifers with their thing going, "We'll end abortion."
Mm-hmm.
That's the other side is their thing is now free college. Like stop buying into it.
It's not really free.
Right.
college.
It doesn't work.
Or college getting paid off. Like, what about those that had already paid it off?
Right. Do they get reimbursed?
Yeah.
Do I get reimbursed?
Where's their come up?
yes,
Yeah.
No, the best was the Jesus, the thing. This is just like Jesus, and the forgiveness. What were we seeing? Me and you were talking about that last year or whatever, where the memes, and we were too, the memes that were coming up, going, conservatives and Republicans and Christians are all like, oh yes, Jesus forgives debt, but then all of a sudden student loans get forgiven and Christians are all up in arms. I'm like, it's not the same thing.
Category distinctions. That's a logical fallacy.
Right. I'm there. And you know what Jesus also says? He says, thou shalt not covet.
Yeah. If Ethan,
Right.
Dan the Man was
Yeah, he'd
he'd
be
be all up on that.
yeah, he'd be like fallacy.
Fallacy hammer.
What else you got?
So not long after this happened, Biden talking, or I'm sorry, this was before. So before
Before the
Biden
slip.
made this slip, Jen Psaki, and first off, how
Alleged-
sad
I
of
forgot
a
about her.
how sad.
Oh.
Adam forgot about her.
Yeah, I forgot about
how
Jen
sad
Psaki,
of a
too.
world do we live in that Jen Psaki is no longer press secretary to the White House, but yet we still have to listen to her open her mouth about things she doesn't know anything about. She made this quote on her.
Wow.
I could not find the clip for this, unfortunately. So I'm going to read this quote from her.
You mean
verbatim.
fortunately?
Yeah, fortunately, I couldn't find the clip on this, but
I get more intelligent stuff by looking at my tortoise eating grass than I do from the.
so yeah, I'm going
Go ahead,
to
read the quote.
So she made this quote, and I guess she feels like she has to remind people how bad Trump is. You know, she has to tell people orange hair good, orange man bad. So
Wow.
she makes this. So comparing Trump with
Don't get
Biden.
confused. She could be a man tomorrow.
Technically, yeah.
So she says this quote, and I'm going to say this verbatim so that you get the gist of what this says, okay? So she says, quote, "There's one president who values our national security and protects our secrets, and there's one former presidential candidate who doesn't." End quote.
Trump's over here going, worst deal ever. I would have her fired.
You're fired.
Yeah, you're fired.
So what's
Play
the what's the
You are
source
fake
for that?
news.
What's up?
The source for that information.
So that information came from Jen Psaki's show on MSNBC. She said that on air on MSNBC.
Oh, I didn't know that she had a show. I know she
yeah,
went
she
off
has.
to some.
It's on
something
Animal
else.
Planet. And it's called
It's called Orange Woman,
Yeah.
Orange Hair Good, Orange
Orange
Man
hair
Bad.
you can literally watch more intelligent things. Incredible.
So that was on her show on
if you want to keep your
MSNBC.
brain cells, I would recommend not watching.
She can say whatever she wants over there.
So she did a slip.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
that would essentially prove the slip that Biden did. Prove
Right.
That it was a slip.
But that's the thing. Like, so
Because she started
makes,
talking about documents, but then went on to secrets.
Yeah. She slips it up, because that's why I read it verbatim. So she said he protects our or secrets. She corrects herself and says secrets, and then that completely backfires because then he makes his little slip.
So
on.
her show aired before that.
Yeah, it aired like
Okay.
I think it aired like 2 or 3 days.
It's like she
before.
knew it was gonna
Okay.
happen. She probably heard him, and she's like, "What's going on?" He keeps going around talking to everybody. He was telling the cook earlier that he was selling it. They go, "What'd you do today, Biden?" He goes, "I was selling secrets." They look like the prime minister. Oh,
One of his handlers off screen just going,
It's a joke, guys. Just keep going. Just play along.
holds up the clap sign or
they
laugh
think
sign.
in the earpiece. He's sitting there, and they go, "Laugh now, laugh now,
Laugh.
now."
Don't roll your eyes. Laugh now.
The projector thing, he's on there going, "Ha ha 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 ha."
Yeah, on the teleprompter.
Yeah, the teleprompter.
Yeah, it's
You know that's what was going around.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I was selling the secrets on the thing. They're like, just stop talking, and then hey, we don't need to talk about that right now. And then going to the next, but hey, where's hey Barack?
Yeah, so like she makes this buffoonish quote on her show a few days before he makes that slip, but it's so funny because like nobody's really falling for it. She's trying to make Biden look like he's just the perfect president, and like Trump's never made mistakes.
Isn't he so
and
funny?
it's all happening at the strategic time that Trump is being indicted for the second time. The first time it was for an even more bogus charge, which I'll come back to that in a little bit. But
I think you misstated something about she trying to make Trump look like he never made mistakes.
What do you mean?
Because that's what you said.
Oh, you meant Biden or the thing.
Yeah,
Is that
you meant
okay.
Biden instead of Trump.
Okay,
never
yeah,
making
okay, I
mistakes.
misspoke then.
Yeah,
She's
it's
trying to
okay.
make
Just
Biden look
clarifying
like
for people that are listening.
right.
Yep.
Jin Saki is anti-Trump, so of course
Right.
she
Yeah.
would never
Did I?
do
Did I
anything.
say? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm reading my notes all jumbled up. So
it's okay.
yeah, she's trying to make Biden look out like he's a perfect president,
Right.
yes.
and trying to make Trump look bad, and it's all because of this recent indictment
yeah.
that that he stole documents when which the president of the United States has the ability to declassify.
He should have sold them, and it would have been
Yeah,
would have
those
been
documents,
acceptable.
They were declassified, weren't they?
But yes, Trump had the power to declassify the
Yeah.
documents. The president of the United States has the power to declassify whatever documents he wants. He also has the power to take and keep any documents that he's declassified.
Right.
He can take them on a vacation to Tahiti for all I care because he declassified them. They're his.
Yeah.
So why does
Why
it matter
Tahiti,
that he
though?
has them at his home in Mar-a-Lago?
Right.
But Biden, and so
I'm still
like, he
stuck
has-
on Tahiti. Why Tahiti?
I don't know. The first thing that came to mind,
Why not
That's the stuff he's
Madagascar?
dreaming of.
Madagascar. But
Alright,
like,
yeah.
so he has the power to declassify. Now, a senator does not. A senator, neither that or a vice president
Right.
does not have the power to declassify
Neither
documents.
one. Right.
Biden has been stealing documents since 1974. He's admitted this.
Right.
So I just
And selling
he
those.
is not a president who values national security.
That's
He's
what he
not
could
a
have been
president
thinking
who
of.
values
He's like,
secrets.
oh, I did this years ago. And it's just a memory coming back up.
I thought I was just hanging out with the guys.
And he was there, and you were there.
Brock,
Brock, tell him you were there. Yeah.
Corn Pop, he was there,
Yeah.
He was there.
and he was
Reminds
with the
me of
bad
that little
boys.
faux pas where he was talking about that one gal that recently died,
Mhm.
and he's like trying to call her up. Go ahead and stand so and so, but she had recently died.
Right, yeah. That's on like like this might not even be recent. He could be coming up like thinking of a memory of that he did how long ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's the problem. Okay, and
Or that it was like, what was the other one where some guy named Chuck that was wheelchair bound. He's like, stand up, Chuck, let him see ya.
yeah.
And then he's like, oh yeah, he can't.
Ouch!
But he like legit forgot the guy was wheelchair bound. That's what made it.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
I
you
forgot.
can't.
Oh, I wish I had the clip for that.
You
That's
burn.
awesome.
He's like, stand up, Chuck, let him see ya.
All right, and that's the problem, though. It's like this is not who we want as a leader.
No.
Like, did we learn our lesson? Like that? Let's just.
I hope so. Well, I mean, I think people are starting to wake up a little bit. I think they did learn a lesson because
They're actually
I pulled
becoming
a
woke.
statistic yesterday. So Biden's overall approval rating is only 37%. Now that number kind of bothers me a little bit because I feel like it should be way lower. But
Yeah.
that makes me.
So, what was it before? And how long did it take to get to 37?
He was
I'm,
having
I'm
around
honestly
40s
not
for a
sure. I didn't
while.
get that
It
one.
fell
I
very
found,
shortly after he said I was selling secrets.
Yeah.
Now it's at 36.
Yeah, we should check it
Yeah.
now. Yeah. Yeah, selling secrets. Oh, now it's at 10. Just over that night.
But as far as 2024 polls, so Trump, no surprise there, is at 51%. DeSantis, surprisingly, 23%. Ramaswamy is 3.8%. And
I wish
Chris
he was
Christie
higher.
is 2.7%. So much for that Trump destroyer.
Yeah. I wish Vivek was higher. I actually like him. A
Yeah,
lot.
I do like Vivek.
She's waiting for those mail. She's waiting for all those mail-in votes.
But
Yeah.
that
she's like, hold on, the dead haven't voted yet.
but that gets me to the thing too of like why they're doing all these, why they're going after Trump so much with all these indictments. It's, to me, it's pretty obvious, and it's the fact that they see Trump as a threat.
Right.
Obviously, because he's at 51% in the polls. Because why not try to knock him out of the race? They're trying to use the justice system to eliminate a political opponent, and that's something that every fascist and communist country has done
Right.
for years. That's exactly what they do. They try
Let's
to
learn from history, folks.
That's exactly what they do. They try to eliminate their political opponents, and that's how they. That's how communism becomes a thing. Nobody votes for communism. Communism is founded upon, bloodshed and destroyed systems. That's where communism.
What do they
comes
call?
from.
What's the term they use for this kind of thing? Is it Banana Republic?
Banana Republic? Yeah.
Where they, where it's like they go after political opponents like that.
Yep.
Happens a lot in South America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, I've heard the saying that you can vote communism in, but you can't vote it out.
Right, and
Right.
that's the other thing that I was thinking of too. On there is there's many ways that it comes in, and you either, but what Scott saying on there is you allow this to happen though,
Right.
Because we just go, oh yeah, that sucks. They're doing that to Trump, but it's when we start pushing and saying no, we're not allowing that, and start pushing stuff. Then that's how we stop with that nonsense. We don't just sit there and just go, oh yeah, okay, they're doing that. Well, that's just how it is. No, and that's what causes that. That's where that voting in comes in, that approval coming in of we just allow them to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what, and we clearly still have the numbers if we wanted to. Okay, Christians, we're still the majority. I know that's hard to believe, but we still have it. Okay, if we want to boycott whatever beer company and have them lose on this stuff like that, we still have the numbers that we could do that. It's just we don't have Christians that are willing to step up and do that. What I like immediately come to mind on there is that we have too many that are bomb sheltering, hiding in, going like this too shall pass, and it's not like this is what happens.
I want to know
Alright.
how many so we've got Independence Day coming up. We got July 4th coming up. I want to know the number. I want to know how many Christians are still going to go out and buy cases of Bud Light for Independence Day. Because a lot of people have, fireworks, barbecues, stuff
Right.
like that.
There's not going to be any General Baptists or Pentecostals doing
Right.
it.
Yeah,
But
they're not buying it.
no.
We're not worried about them on the show. We already lost them when me and Adrian did the cessationist talk
Yeah.
on there.
The Trinity and the cessationism, yep.
But for the Reformed, that's something that to be curious on too. Is have you took a stand and moved away from that, or you just
I wonder if
don't
there's
care?
some who just never even heard of this.
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah, and if
completely
you're wanting to
detached
boycott
from-
Anheuser-Busch,
right detached from
Forehand,
all things
Schlafly,
political
Lightning
or
Google.
anything
Yeah,
like
they
that.
just have no
Plenty of 'em.
idea.
Right. Well,
what's going on.
I didn't even
I
hear
think
about
it'd be.
the Coles.
I think it's impossible to hear about it.
right.
I-
Well,
I
especially
think-
with how big it's gotten now, and that's
Yeah.
what we need. We just need to start. You know what I mean?
I didn't know about the Coles thing either.
Right, and Target now, that's becoming
Yeah.
popular, and then the same thing. If Kohl's, then ramp it up and let's do that too. All I'm saying is, okay, you're gonna do that. Add it to the list.
And-
I don't even like your clothing, anyways.
I
And
think
it's-
Target,
This totally
Kohl's,
sucks.
and Anheuser-Busch, they can all take a chapter from Toys R Us. Because they went down because they started to support Planned Parenthood.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were killing off their customer base.
Mm-hmm. That's weird to think about. I completely
Toys R Us.
completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
About Toys R Us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I-
You
like,
didn't
I just-
know
I-
why.
That
Yeah.
was so long ago. I just blocked it
Right.
from my mind.
I
but-
thought they just went out because Amazon, beat them at that.
No, they,
Prices and
they were
everything.
supporting.
Yeah. and they
Baby
started-
murder.
Yep.
Yep.
I didn't
So
know
that was the kind of the start of it, was them doing that. A lot of Christians, and not just Christians, pro-lifers pulled back from that, and then that's what I think. So that already shrunk them down, and then I think Amazon came in and just
That's really disappointing to hear.
Mhm.
I love Toys R Us.
Yeah.
It was
Toys R
so
Us.
pricey though.
Yeah,
know.
that's
One of the parents.
that's what happens when a toy company for children says, "Kill your children." like,
Well, that's the thing.
They had to up their prices.
you
through the
literally
end.
just said, "Let's off out our customers."
They were
That's
the,
why I thought that they went
They
out
were
of
the-
business because of their prices.
No.
they were the OG go woke, go broke. That's it.
Yes.
I didn't
Yeah.
know.
No, their prices were high just
Oh, I
from
know.
the beginning.
That's why I thought like Amazon and everything beat them.
No, it wasn't because of Amazon. It wasn't because that they were supporting Planned Parenthood and killing their customer base. It wasn't because of that. It was
Right.
just, Toys R Us was just pricey in general.
It was,
so-
but it was fun.
Yeah.
Right.
I loved it.
It was
and
fun
KB
for the
Toys.
kids
Right.
who they were against.
Yeah.
KB Toys.
Yeah.
Their fan base grew up and stopped going, and
They're-
they didn't have any more.
Yeah, the kids that survived.
Yeah, right.
I wish KB Toys would have survived. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
KB Toys was
Never
good.
heard of KB.
Really?
At South County Mall. Did you ever go to? You didn't.
I didn't
Okay.
go to the mall that much.
Now the malls are also dying, but that's
Malls are
also
dying.
because
Malls are dying.
Lack of theonomy.
yeah, lack of theonomy, and also because of places like Amazon.
We
now.
used to have a culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, malls used to be a huge thing.
We used to
Totally.
have. We used to have a country, a real country.
A real country.
Yeah, real country
Now-
revolving
Right.
around
Yeah.
malls.
All right, but again, we still have a chance. Let's readjust
it.
course.
Bring
But-
back
Let's
and-
make malls
Yeah,
great
make
again.
malls great. No,
Bring
but-
back
and not-
Sabaro's
and not-
Pizza.
Yes. Sabaro's Pizza. needs to
Bring
come
back EB Games.
But yeah, like going back to just companies in general, like and boycotting, like so far it's worked. I mean, just like I said at the beginning, Anheuser-Busch down 27 billion just for putting a transgender on their can.
Yeah.
Down $27 billion. And, like, I can't even comprehend how much money that is. And like that's a huge pain for them.
Right.
But this is how we win. Like
Yep.
these boycotts is how we beat this leftist ideology.
And then
This is
not
how we
only
win.
that, but then here's the other thing for especially Christians, is then we need alternatives.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the Christians, hey, stop sitting in your bomb shelters and going, this too, like, this will end, we'll all, any day now, Jesus.
Shout out to Lore.
Yeah, that's
Marcus
what I was
Pittman.
gonna say. Lore on there is also you need companies that are ran by Christians because we do it better and we should.
Yeah, we need more Christians in the movie industry and the music industry.
and even
better
in the
music.
beer industry.
Yeah.
we need stuff like that. And
Gaming
so,
industry.
yeah, and that's what we need is not for us to sit back and go any day now. Let's just get by. No, let's start going back to what we were doing when we were creating,
Right.
like the churches that were built. They built them to last,
Yeah.
and to make them
Definitely
and we
post-mill.
want that to go forward. Is because people are just letting this go by, and it drives me nuts talking to Christians that are just like, well, it's this is, and then any day now, and I'm like, okay, and if not, what's your plan?
Start polishing that brass. The
Yeah,
ship is
I
not
don't believe
sinking.
it's any day now, but just for the Christians that say any day now, Jesus is coming back. Okay, and what's the plan if he doesn't? Because just so you know, Christians like you have been saying that for how many years now? How many years? Any day now, and it's not, and we need to start planning for the future. And
Yeah.
Christians, we should be the best about it. Why? Is because we have the worldview and the standing to be able to do that.
Right.
The atheist can't plan for the future, and even in wildlife, where atheism has a chance of even making somewhat of an argument, is literally that should be the atheist argument is the process of evolution, and their thing talking evolution to what they're meaning by it, but natural selection there is a thing with reptiles, working with reptiles, that this is true, not talking about the evolution stuff, that when animals are distressed, their goal is to make the young survive. So they want to try and push the gene forward, push it to go forward. Even the animals are doing that. And meanwhile, we're sitting here, we have most Christians that sit here and just go, well, we don't have to worry about that. Jesus is coming any day, so we don't have to think about that. Okay, but you're putting your children in a bad situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And while most of you are thinking, they probably won't even get to see it. Okay, and if they do, what's the plan? You know, what's the plan for the future? We need to be better about planning ahead. And that's why we need to start thinking about election year coming up. We need to start having those conversations. We need to start saying, okay, so the Hunter Biden story was,
cultural conversations.
Yes, yeah.
It's like what Andrew Breitbart says, politics is downstream from culture.
Right.
Right.
So it's, yeah.
Yeah, we need to start.
Make good art.
Right, yeah, exactly. And and Christians, we need to be creative, and we need to start taking over that stuff
And
and
not
doing
too
it.
CV art.
Right.
Yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't have to be that, but
Yeah.
But
like
just good
the
art,
other-
you know what I mean?
one of my
Let's-
favorite Martin Luther quotes.
I knew you were gonna say that one. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, how do you make
Shoemaker,
the
yeah.
shoemaker? How do you make Christian shoes? Not by putting little crosses on the shoes, but just by making good shoes.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's start focusing on making good quality stuff. Let's focus
Right.
on good quality politics, good quality government, good quality police, good quality, you know, better stuff, and we should be looking for that. So not military. There's a couple of young guys that I know that just joined into the military. They just went into boot camp, and a lot of Christians are like, oh, they shouldn't be in that. They should, that's I was in the military there, and there's just nothing but sinning going on, stuff like that. Okay, well, then we need good Christians to go in there and to change that, right? And it's not going to happen.
And
Yeah,
that's-
do
and bringing
warfare
up
the way that God wants warfare to be done.
And bringing up the military too is like, almost every branch of the military has gone woke now.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So
yeah. And
like
it all
anybody,
started with my
Now
two
that-
moms that
the
once
people-
Now the Marines scaled that back. I don't know
yeah,
if
the
you-
Marines have
they
scaled it
really-
back a little bit,
they
but
went back to like old school '90s recruiting.
right, yeah,
But
they're
it's
sitting
a-
here going, this sucks.
Yeah.
But see, the old school '90s recruiting, I feel like that's not enough. It needs to go back to, I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie Full Metal Jacket, but it needs to
Yeah.
go back to the Full Metal Jacket style recruiting,
Well,
to where
I don't think
people
Full
are-
Metal Jacket was pro-military really.
well, no, but like the way that the basic
He's talking about
training
like the
was.
first couple
The
minutes.
first
of
couple
the
of
thing.
minutes,
yeah.
yeah.
Another
But
movie I
like
need to add to
the
my
military
watch list.
used to be, the military used to be like something that was like respected, and
Yeah.
now it's not respected anymore, and that's what's sad. And with how they are now, their recruiting tactics and all of that, the right people that we want serving the country are not going to the military, because
Right.
now it's just a
It's not
just a rainbow.
focused
It's,
on manliness. It's not
Right, it's
focused
not
on
focused on-
defending.
It's not focused on like, sacrifice and hard
Courage,
work.
Right,
and stuff
yes,
like that.
yes,
It's not.
yes.
It's
Yeah.
not focused on that.
It's focused
It's
on
a rainbow
pandering.
fest.
Yeah.
And it, right, and-
Pandering,
yes,
exactly.
and that's
and
the
not
problem.
the right rainbow. We're
Social
talking about the sinful
experiments.
rainbow.
yeah, the
Right,
sinful
yeah.
rainbow.
And that's what the whole thing was. If you look back on, like, when versing the Nazis and stuff like that, is those guys going on the beach. You know what I mean? If they had a view of, we're not fighting for, like, this is all about myself and how I feel and whatever going over, like, there would have been no sacrifice, like what Scott was saying.
They
on
would have
there.
been more
would've-
focused on if the person that they were aiming on their sights. They would
Right.
be more focused if what they identified as.
Right. There would have been no push to, okay, I'm going to run up this hill. Most likely I'm going to lose my life on this. But my goal to do this is that our team could push forward to stop this enemy because I got to protect everybody back home
Yeah.
because that's my duty.
And in a way, there's a post-mill look at that because
For God
And it was
for
it
country.
was amazing because
For-
it was
for furthering
the
future
Americans, it was
generations.
the Canadians, it was the English. Like they all knew what they had to do.
yeah, right.
But
It was,
it's got me confused is like with the identity politics in the military. What's got me confused too is like, how does that work out in the field? Like when you're in a life or death situation,
Yeah,
do you
you're
want
not
the
going to
guy
be
and
concerned.
do you want the guy in front of you to be more concerned about what he identifies as?
right. Or what you
when
identify
your
as.
life is on the line.
Move it, man, move forward. Hey!
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, what happens when like the guy in the wig
It's
under his helmet like, turns around and it's ma'am.
It's man.
He accidentally turns around and forgets that his safety is off on his rifle.
It identified as on.
Identified as on. So like this kind of stuff does not belong in the military.
Right.
The military is about discipline and
Mm-hmm.
and responsibility.
Yes, and also, you're probably clicking the same thing on that. Is also as the duty that God has designed that role for. Is when you were in that position, when you were a police officer, when you were in that authority, your job is ordained by God.
Amen.
That you have a purpose when you're doing that job. You have to live up to, and that's what I'm saying. It's we have the worldview to be able to make things better, and yet Christians are not doing that. We literally have the means to do it, and then we're not, and we're letting the outside, the unbelieving, lead the way, and we say, "Go ahead, lead the way, and we'll follow." Even though we have the means of making that stuff happen, we have the means of doing this. We knew it was evil. We can say this is evil. Why? We had
we have a justification
yes,
for.
we can say this is evil. This needs to go. What Hitler and the Nazis doing? No, that's
You got
And it's
things
okay
in
to
the Air
join.
Force.
If you think about like
Go ahead.
even in ancient times, like the Christian converts who were Roman soldiers, like they continued to be soldiers,
right.
Yeah.
and they didn't leave it,
Right.
so they just continued to do what
And
God had them do. They were some were bakers, some people were bakers, some people were soldiers. So it's
Right.
just, you know.
And you need to do everything to the glory of God,
Yep.
and therefore we have the standard to do that. You want your stuff to carry on, and you want it to be good. And we have the grounds for doing that. Now there is a point to where we do have to start pushing stuff and going out and we have to engage in the culture and stuff like that. And that needs to be happening, and these conversations need to be happening. So just like what's been going on, we're engaging the abortion clinics. We're going out there engaging. We were going to go tonight, but they canceled it. There's a huge festival that's taking place for the 4th of July. A couple hundred people. Me and Adrian are planning on being down there engaging with the culture.
But it was canceled
Right, and it
because they said the wrong thing.
yeah.
I wonder if
Rain.
I wonder if they'll do it now because it's not raining anymore.
No, they already called it.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, no, it still is raining.
the storm got hit pretty good too. There were trees, but anyways, what else you got? And we'll,
So, like commenting on these indictments of Trump too is like, because it's not even just the most recent one. I mean, they're all completely bogus. Like because the documents were declassified before he left office, so they essentially don't really have a case anymore, and that's why nobody's really talking about it. Like they had the indictment.
right, because that's what I was gonna say. What happened?
He was
Like,
arraigned, and now nobody's talking about it. And they don't have any evidence. They don't have any evidence, and they didn't.
So is he going to jail or not?
Well,
gonna
you see
go to
this. You see
jail.
this common because you got like the
Jail.
back. It was a
shouldn't be
few
in
They
years
jail.
said
back,
it was
you
a
had
blessing that they said Trump, it's such an honor to have you here. And the warden himself, he came up to me and he said, Trump, I've heard many things that you're great in prison. You're a great inmate. You're one of the best. That's what they say. You're one of the best. We're glad that you're here.
And then at the first like presidential debate, they'll be like, "Why aren't you in jail?" Or "Why are you here?" Because I'm not in jail.
Because I'm not in jail.
Like a throwback to the Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, right.
Because you'd be in jail.
That's gonna be a funny debate if he debates Biden again. Because I wasn't put in jail. You tried and you failed.
that was
Nice
kind of
little
flowed.
rhyme.
Yeah, we're starting to flow there.
But yeah, like I think it's twice now. Well, they tried to impeach him twice when he was in office, and those two failed miserably. And now that and ever since he announced that he was going to run for 24, they're trying it again. They can't impeach him,
Right.
because he's not in office, but what's the next best thing? So first they try to get him with that first indictment with the the Stormy Daniels case, where they accused him of using campaign funds to pay off a prostitute. And anybody who's viewing is probably going to correct me and say, no, he's accused of paying off a porn star. And literally the same thing. I don't care if it's behind a
Right.
camera or
Yeah.
if it's behind 7-Eleven. If you're performing sex acts for money, you're a prostitute. Like,
Yes.
like
I'm
why
pretty
does
sure-
nobody see that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the definition.
That is the very definite. You look it up, and I don't know if you have a dictionary, Kanoa, but if you look it
No,
up,
Be
it's
in
a
the
careful
dictionary.
looking it up on Google, guys. Be
It's
careful.
the Hawaiian version of Webster's dictionary.
But yeah, and there were literal. During Trump's first campaign in 2016, he had a lawyer named Michael Cohen. Okay,
Yeah.
there are multiple emails between Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels, where Stormy Daniels literally says in the emails, "No, I never had any kind of romantic interactions with Donald Trump." That's case closed.
Well, what's the definition of romantic, though?
That's it.
that's-
I mean,
that's-
you could ask that, but I
I
mean,
I was gonna make a bad Matt
but
Chandler
at the
joke.
same time, to a court of law.
I was thinking the exact same thing. The Matt Chandler thing.
It was friendly.
It was more than friendly, but it wasn't romantic.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
Or the-
brotherly, sisterly
I
thing,
forgot
but it
about
wasn't.
It moved past the brother sister. It wasn't romantic. Moved past friend. Moved past brother and sister. Okay, well, what does that leave?
Yeah.
Exactly. But I did not have sex with that woman.
He's just
I don't
gonna
know why
pull
I was
a
a Trump. with
he's
the
gonna pull a
picture.
Clinton.
Yeah.
And,
So your nickname is Scothew?
my name is Scothew. What?
Someone said Scothew.
Oh, that's funny.
You tell him Scothew
All right.
from Joey.
Okay. But
Joe Huey.
Oh,
right,
okay.
but
My
he-
buddy Joe's listening. All
Oh,
right.
yeah. Calls you Scothew.
Scothew. Okay, he's never called me that before. So that's very
Okay, Joe,
confusing.
really,
gonna-
it's just a spelling error, and we're
I've
going
known-
like way off.
Joe,
topic
you're gonna
on
have to keep up with the
I've-
Scothew now.
I've known that I've
Joe
known
was
the
having
guy
a Joe
for-
Biden moment. He's like, it was Scotty.
Got you.
Scotty. You tell him, Scotty.
From YouTube.
The thing.
It's 2023.
You know the thing.
It's 2023, and I was watching my friend's podcast. His first show. Old Scothew, he was telling it like it is.
He was telling the thing. He was telling a secret with ice cream.
And then I called him Scothew.
Brock. You tell him.
Oh.
Yeah, you tell him Scothew.
All right, but all right, and so
Thanks, Joe.
and so what now? So they don't have anything. So
Yeah, they don't have anything, and that's why you didn't really hear any outcome on that first indictment because they had nothing. But I need to talk a little bit about like where these charges came from.
yeah,
And so that first indictment was brought on by, I believe, Manhattan, the Manhattan district attorney, I think, Alvin Bragg. Now, if you don't know anything about Alvin Bragg, he's funded by George Soros, who is secretly trying to destroy this country
yeah. Seriously,
from the shadows.
Bartholomew.
right. When bricks start showing up in
It-
places,
Um,
we are not. We come in peace.
Joe, you're gonna have to pick a name for Scott.
But also, talking about that first indictment, so and it cracks me up because so MSNBC they did the meme like they do all the time. Every time that they think that like, oh, we got him, we got Trump, we got him backed against the corner
Right.
now. It's like, oh, the walls are closing in on him.
And I almost got away with it.
They do. Like we got him now. Their walls are
Swiper,
closing
no
in.
swiping. Oh man,
But,
you got it.
I have another clip of this because I was able to find it finally.
Did you send it to me?
I did.
Well, why didn't you tell me ahead of time?
He was trying to. He was giving you the signals. He was.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I thought you were just over
That was
there
the
having a
He was
heart
over
attack
here
or
going-
something. Flailing in the air,
He was
whatnot.
it was the thing.
You know,
I
the
sent you
thing.
the thing.
It was the second one that I sent
Yeah.
you. Don't accidentally play the Biden one again.
Scott has to get
All
used
right,
to
so-
the way. What
All right.
was that?
That was probably an ad
It's
because
an
YouTube
ad,
is.
so I have to mute the ad. But so for this next bit, we're gonna have to not talk
Okay.
because we have reports of people not being able to hear
Okay.
the video.
That's fine. I'll shut up.
So y'all got to shut
me.
up.
They're like, tell the Hawaiian it's really loud. Shut up.
So loud. All right, so just
I don't know the timestamp of when he says it, so we'll just watch the full clip.
It's 1 hour. He's like, I don't
an
know.
hour long.
I don't know the time stuff. It's a 2-hour thing.
No, I think it's just a clip. But
He's like the Christians over there going, any day now.
any day now. Yes, the what is that? That's a 4-minute thing. Okay.
4 minutes. Okay.
All right, so making sure we're at the beginning. We are unmuted on the thing. You know the thing.
With the grand jury in the case set to meet again to possibly vote on whether or not to hand down a criminal indictment. Republicans, meanwhile, as we have said, continue to defend Trump on this one charge and rail against the Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg.
President Trump announced he was going to run for president again. And suddenly here they go. Now they're coming after him for some alleged bookkeeping error. You've got to be kidding me.
This, I believe, is the epitomization of the weaponization of the federal government and departments against political opponents.
The fact that the Manhattan DA thinks that indicting President Trump is his top priority, I think, just tells you everything you need to know about the radical left in this country.
They're making stuff up that they've never used against anybody because they hate Trump.
Making stuff up. Again, Willie, you can sort through everything
love
that
this
was just
guy.
said. Again, I don't know how stupid they think
Yeah, when he
we are.
tries to
I
tell
don't
you
think it
about
does.
Jesus.
Oh
They
yeah,
actually
this
think
was the guy.
their own voters are
Jesus
stupid.
Yeah,
And
he's-
that's what's so
he's a
insulting
quote-unquote
when you have
Republican.
Jim Jordan saying, oh, Donald Trump just announced and suddenly they decide to charge. No, Donald Trump announced because he knew he was going to get indicted. We talked about it on this show for months. Is he going to announce that he's running just so he can move forward? That false claim. And Lindsey Graham, he was a prosecutor in the military. He knows better than that. He knows that people have been arrested for this, for doing far less.
You see their
and
cups?
Elise Stefanik, she doesn't even believe. None of these people
Joke.
believe what they're saying. It's just like Lindsey, all of them, they all trashed Donald Trump until they figured out that.
I just noticed that.
joke.
Joe, and then
All right, so we're laughing at the coffee mug and the soda can together. It's joke.
Symbolisms.
Yeah, symbolism. Yeah.
So, do you think that was on purpose?
Probably not, but that's
Probably
That
not,
was
but it's hilarious.
That's really
That's
funny.
God having a sense of humor.
Yes.
yes.
For anyone that says God does not have a sense of humor, there you go. There's a joke right there. That's good.
All right, keep going.
Joe the Joke.
That their grift would be better, their scam would be better if
He's
they
like,
supported
they go to prison
Donald
for
Trump.
stuff like
They don't
that. Yeah,
believe
also for
any
selling
of what they're
secrets to
saying,
India.
And for good reason,
Like-
because it's stupid. It doesn't.
He didn't say
It's
India,
not
he just
consistent
said
with facts. It's
selling
not
secrets,
consistent with the law. They're just playing to their base, and they're insulting their base, thinking their base is too stupid to actually read the news.
Well, it's a
that's kinda funny that you
reflex,
say
isn't it,
that.
when they're asked
Yeah.
about Donald Trump?
Playing to the base and thinking that the base is too stupid. What party sounds like that?
Right. Not well. I was in agreement. That was like bad timing. Right.
Right.
No, I mean left.
Wrong.
I don't like the name.
Trump to quickly race to his defense, whether you're Jim Jordan or Lindsey Graham or Elise Stefanik. And the fact of the matter is this investigation into Donald Trump in Manhattan's been going on for a long time. They didn't suddenly discover all this information. The possibility that he could be indicted is relatively new, but the investigation is not. So this didn't just come out when he decided to run for president. We should point out that despite what you heard from Senator Graham there, the possible charge of falsifying business records is not, quote, something never used against anybody. In fact, a new study from the left-leaning blog Just Security found just last year alone the Manhattan DA's office charged 11 people with that crime. Trump, for his part, reportedly downplaying his predicament behind closed doors. According to the New York Times, the former president has told friends and associates he welcomes the idea of being paraded around by the authorities as long as he's surrounded by the media. He also reportedly mused openly about whether to smile for the cameras during that possible perp walk and described the potential
Really?
situation as a fun experience, Joe.
So that might be fun in front of the cameras for him, but I think it's different when you get in there and you're having, I could be wrong, but I don't know, but having your fingerprint taken and your picture
You
taken.
know we call that, Mika.
What?
That's called whistling past the graveyard. He's not looking forward to any of it. He's horrified. He's just talking big. The walls are closing in as has been said
I love
before.
this guy's head.
This time, my God,
The
look at
bottom
all
center.
of it. They have. Now, I want to get back.
What?
The walls are closing.
Close it in.
You know what they call that, Mika? We call that whistling past the graveyard.
And I read my Bible. Remember he said that on there? He does,
Oh, yeah.
And I read my Bible.
Yeah.
And you know what we call that? We call that the devil. Like, what in the world?
Joe Scarborough zinger hour.
Yeah, like
cool quote guy.
Yeah, stop on that. And what else is there to say on stuff like I'm lost for words on what to say anymore on stuff like that because what more evidence do we need? Like it's ridiculous. But so that's crazy on there.
Yep.
But we're gonna let's wrap it up. Is there any last thing that you that you know, Scott?
Because
I think
Scott Tholomew
All right,
knows.
well then that's because Scott knows. All right, and and not like the lame like Gerald knows things. Like this is way better. All right, so we appreciate you guys for watching this stuff. Comment below if any of this stuff surprised you. If you didn't know about it, just like the Coles stuff. I didn't know that. That was first for me.
Or take a page from Joe's book, Scott's Friend, making up new names for Scott.
Yeah,
Scott's Mew, Scott Tholomew.
Scott.
He's got Scott Tholomew.
Scott.
Bartholomew. That's a good one.
Scott Tholomew knows.
Yeah. So if you we'll let you guys know when we have another one of these shows coming out because we're working on getting them started and we're working on all the kinks and stuff like that. Special thank you to Adam and Scott for being here and Scott for leading this. Scott's going to be providing the info because Scott knows.
Yeah. And we got another thank you to.
Oh yeah, and let's thank our to our supporters too. So our big time supporters that put the money in to make this happen to get us awesome
we need to
mics
add
and stuff.
Adam's name up there too.
Yeah, we do. We need to add some more names on that, but we'll work on that.
Yeah.
So with that said, thank you to our special supporters, Carol, Mimi. We appreciate you guys. And let us know what you think. Comment below. Was stuff surprising to you? How do you think this? Does this change anything for you? Are you? How is this gonna change your view moving forward? Are you going to try and plan ahead, or are you just one of those Christians that are just say any day now, so I'm not going to worry about it? Let us know what you think.
Yeah, tell us if you think that Scott should have sent all those links ahead of time.
We're working out the kinks.
Tell me you're salty without telling me that you're salty about this issue. All right, with that said, guys, thank you so much for being out here. We appreciate this. As the Hawaiians say, Keokua Pu, God be with you.
Bye-bye.
See ya.